Welcome back to Boy You Have Seen Nothing, where I take a movie that everyone and their mother has seen but I haven't seen yet, and I review it for you guys. And this month's review is going to be for Big Trouble in Little China. Enjoy. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film Fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review Big Trouble in Little China. So Big Trouble in Little China stars Kurt Russell, and what this film is about. It's about, Kurt Russell, he agrees to pick up Dennis Dunn's fiance at the airport, and she gets taken by this gang and whatever, and they start to encounter some weird and very unusual stuff, and I mean very weird and unusual stuff. So, what did I think of Big Trouble in Little China? Now, I've heard a lot about this movie. I've heard about how weird it is and how, absurd it is and everything, and I just had to see it. I really wanted to see it. I felt like it was perfect to do for, this month's review. I was just excited to do it. So yeah, and this is one of the most ridiculous, one of the most over the top, one of the most just out there movies I think I've ever seen. And it was glorious in every way. I had so much fun with this movie. Big Trouble in Little China knows exactly what it's doing, and it's so fun. It's such a fun movie. I enjoyed the heck out of Big Trouble in Little China. It's so enjoyable. So let's get into my positives. And my positives are, first being the acting. I actually thought for the most part the acting was actually pretty solid in the movie. Kurt Russell, he's the best thing about the movie. I love him in this movie. He's so Kurt Russell-esque, and it's glorious. I love him in this movie. He was so great. I so enjoyed him in this film. It's Kurt Russell being Kurt Russell at his finest, and he was just so fantastic. It seems like he was just having a ball with this, and you could definitely tell, and he was just so great. I loved him in this movie. Kim Catherine, I've seen her in a few other things. She was like in Police Academy and the Sex and the City TV show and movies, and she was pretty good in this. I enjoyed her in this movie. She did actually a pretty good job in my eyes. Dennis Dunn was really good as well. I enjoyed him as well. He was very enjoyable. And the rest of the acting is not too bad either. I thought the rest of the acting was pretty solid for the most part, honestly. The action sequences are nothing short but just fun, enjoyable, campy, cheesy, fun action scenes, and they're glorious. I loved them. They were so fun and so enjoyable. The action scenes were just so bizarre, and it was just great. I loved it. The action scenes were actually really cool. The comedy really worked in this movie. There were two scenes especially that had me dying of laughter. Now, I'm not going to give it away because, just in case if you haven't seen the movie, but there were two scenes in particular that had me dying of laughter, and I couldn't stop laughing for like 5 minutes because of how funny they were. So yeah, the movie's really funny. The strange and weirdness of the movie was actually quite funny within itself, actually. I actually quite liked how weird the movie got. It was just so out there. Like, it really was. It was just so out there. They was just like, we know what we're doing, let's just go with it. And it's hilarious. I love it. It's so great. Like, this movie knows exactly what it's doing. Like, it's not like they're trying to be all serious or anything. No, they know exactly what movie they're making, and they know exactly what they're doing with the film, and it's just so great. I love the absolute weirdness and the absolute just crazy stuff that happens in this film. The writing is really great. I love the writing with this movie, especially the dialogue with Kurt Russell. Fantastic. I absolutely love the writing with the film. The directing is great too. This is directed by John Carpenter, who is considered to be the master of horror. And of course, well, this is not really a horror film. This is an action comedy. But he does a really good job with the directing with this movie. John Carpenter does know how to direct a film, and he definitely does a great job directing this movie. Very well shot, very well edited. The cinematography is really good with the movie. So yeah, the movie was very well directed. John Carpenter does a really solid job directing this film. And the pacing's really good too, for the most part, really. I do think the movie moves at a nice natural pace. The movie's an hour and 39 minutes. And I will say the movie did move at a nice natural pace for the most part. Now, oh, and also the practical effects were really cool as well. I liked it when they used practical effects. They were actually used very well in my eyes, so yeah. And now the negatives with the film, there are a few. Some of the acting could be a little bit over the top at times. Like it's mostly from I want to say the villains of the movie. They just acted way too over the top. And it was just like, please stop. But that was really, in terms of the acting, was the only bad thing, was those villains. They just acted way too over the top. And it was honestly distracting at times. So yeah, it just that they acted a little bit too over the top for the most part. So some of the visuals are really dated and they don't really look that great. Like, it's like, oh my goodness, like they have to use like a green portal thing, and it just looks terrible. It really does. It looks pretty bad. And lastly, the movie, I will say, for the first 10 to 15 minutes, I didn't really know what direction it was going, but I will say when one certain scene happens in the movie, that's when I felt like it was really going, and I was like, okay, now I'm really having fun with this. So yeah. So overall, Big Trouble in Little China is nothing more than just a fun, enjoyable, cheesy, campy action movie that you could just have a ton of fun with. So it's time for my official grade on Big Trouble in Little China, and my official grade on Big Trouble in Little China is a solid B+. It's a very enjoyable movie. I had tons of fun watching this movie. Like, seriously, it's just so fun. You could just sit down, watch it, and enjoy it for what it is, and it's so enjoyable. I really enjoyed it, so it definitely deserves a B+. So what did you guys think of Big Trouble in Little China? In the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.